the time, I went back to college at night, and I was placed in the Limerick School of Art and Design by the Limerick City D&C. And at the time, Microsoft was just coming out, and I trained in the Microsoft packages. So I was offered a position, and I took it. It was a big change in career. It was a big risk, but I took it, and I haven't looked back since.
That's brilliant.
Okay.
And how long have you been here?
This month, I have it marked on my calendar, on the 24th of April, I'll be here 24 years.
I ended up here with Ned on the paper. I applied for the job here. I applied for the job in LIT, which I ended up here then.
Yeah.
In February 1995.
And what did you do before you came here?
I worked maintenance in factories.
Yeah. And how long were you working there?
All my life. I came here from the age of 16 to 47.
Yeah.
And then I came in here. Now, if you want to know my age, I'm retiring actually in this year.
I was art student myself,
Yeah.
and I'll hate to do it, but I'll reveal the year. Back in 1977, I was a student here, and from here I went on. After the first year, I wanted to do textile design. They didn't have that course here, so I went on to Galway, and I did art for another few years. And at the time, there were no degrees, so I did a diploma in textile design. And again, you're all too young to remember it, but there was a recession in the early 80s, and there were absolutely no jobs at all. And so I was at the dole for a while, and then I worked in different hotels, cleaning bedrooms, and I worked in wash-up of restaurants. And then out of the blue I saw an ad for a library, the City Library, and I thought to myself, well, that'll do for a few weeks. So I went for the interview and I got it, and it was up in Perry Square at the time, and that was 1981. And I can remember about 6 weeks into the job looking around and realising I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
That would spring to mind, but you know, there's been many stories and many eventful things happening here, and but I mean, we've seen. I just heard of, I mean, just off the top of my head, I mean, where does this happen? We heard of a case where a student, using their initiative, had a project in O'Connell Street there last year, maybe the year before, and they were using life-size human images on the top floor of the Royal George Hotel.
Yeah.
And he had headphones on, he was working away, happy out, and some member of the public thought there was someone actually on the top of the building in O'Connell Street, and they rang the emergency services, and the whole town was shut down, the whole of O'Connell Street was shut down. When this emergency, which wasn't an emergency, was dealt with. So every day brings something different in the school. As I say again, going back to 24 years, no 2 days are the same.
There was another one then. We were just after getting the cameras in, colour cameras, and Paul, my colleague, we were watching the camera. One of the lad came in the gate with a bag, and we kind of looked at him in the camera, and I went out, and I followed him up the back, and he threw his bag into the trees up the back and went away. I picked up the bag, and it was about a bag of sugar, inside the bag. So he came back, he said, "Where's my bag?" I said, "It's in there." And we asked him what was in it, he said, a South African sandwich with a bag of white stuff. Sure, the white stuff?
Oh.
Yeah. Whatever you call that stuff. So he ended up in court. He actually got jail out of it.
Students, but there was one recently. Do you know Brian and painting?
Yeah.
I can't help it sometimes. He came up to the desk and he was taking out a CD, and it was on electronic music, and I just said like, "Oh, that's I don't really get that kind of music. Hey, you should open your mind to all types of music you want. What type of music do you like?" And I said, "Well, really," I said, "I'm into, heavy metal. Actually, I'm into death metal, Lamb of God and Crucified Christ." And his eyes were getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And you say, "You can't be serious." "Oh my God, I don't get that type of music at all." I said, "You should open your mind to all types of music." So he went off laughing and I was laughing. That was fine. A couple of weeks later, a girl came up, lovely girl, and she was from Athlone, and I'm going to be going there for a day and a night. And I said, oh, is Athlone nice? And, oh, she's fantastic. There's a great pub, I can tell you, to go to that has Irish traditional music every night of the week. Great sessions. And I'm I said, I can't take too much of Irish music now, you know. About half an hour and I'm done, really, you see. And I didn't see that Brian had come in after her again. And Brian went, you wouldn't believe it. And the hands were going, and the eyes were going. She's like into blood and stuff. And the weirdest music. I mean, stay away from her. And even the other students started backing up. That's why I was shot.
What do you think of the students yourself?
Oh well, I no hesitation saying that. I think they're great.
Yeah.
Always have. All different departments, whether they're whatever discipline they're in. You know, they are great bunch. Always have been. Yeah.
Love them. I
Yeah.
absolutely love them. Love you all. I really do. I really, really do, because I just think that the creative people, they just see things differently, and maybe that's the way I see things too.
What do you think of the students?
Brilliant, absolutely
Yeah.
brilliant. And I couldn't say any more about it, absolutely. Never had a problem with a student here. Never had to say to a student, you can't smoke there, you can't do that. I would just say our students are brilliant.
Shouldn't go. Don't leave us.
Not that I want to.
Okay.
Thanks,
Right.